Good evening, and welcome back to Mystery Rift. I am David Paulides. Tonight, we are delving into a true account from the deep woods. An experience that aligns eerily with the inexplicable disappearances and terrifying encounters we document in our Missing 411 research. This specific event didn't involve a person vanishing from their tent, but it exposed the predator. That may explain why some disappearances happen at all. Our witness, whom we call Casey, was a lifelong woodsman, a father. His entire worldview was shattered one terrifying night in a Florida national forest. This area, Casey notes, holds the highest elevation in Florida, a landscape notorious for sinkholes and old trails. Sinkholes, as we know, are places where people can vanish without a trace. This place carries an unsettling history. Casey was the quintessential outdoorsman. He knew the land, knew the animals. He moved his own family to the country so his kids could experience that pure, rugged life. But even for a seasoned veteran, the woods hold secrets. And sometimes they reveal them. For years, Casey had ignored the chilling local tales. The old-timers spoke of Sasquatch and skunk apes, claims he always tuned out, until his own family was irrevocably shaken. The strangeness began long before his personal sighting, 13 years earlier. Casey's own father, a man he describes as tougher than nails, was deep in those same woods alone, around 2 or 3 in the morning. His father heard the sound of wolves chasing something massive. The howls grew closer and closer. Then, right outside his camper, came a blood-curdling scream, a sound unlike any he had ever known. It was the sound of pure, unadulterated terror. Casey's father immediately threw gasoline onto the dying campfire to create a massive flare-up. He didn't wait. He got in his truck and fled, vowing never to return to the woods alone. But Casey, at the time, dismissed it as a boogeyman tale. The family returned to the area years later, determined to camp the right way in tents, close to nature. The ominous signs began subtly at the pond. Casey was fishing, feeling that strong, undeniable sensation of being watched. It was that gut-level warning that every veteran woodsman trusts. He couldn't shake it. He quickly packed his gear and moved to rejoin his family. Just as the sun was setting, 20 minutes later, they saw a doe and her fawn approach the path. They were unnaturally calm, allowing the family to walk right up. Casey knew this animal behavior was deeply wrong. Something powerful was overriding the deer's natural fear. He got within 30 feet of the doe. When the animal stood up, the horror was revealed. The deer's entire back left leg was ripped completely off from the knee down. Fresh blood was actively spurting from the wound. This was no clean kill. This suggests a predator with immense strength and aggressive, almost brutal power. As we often see in Missing 411 cases, the mauling of local animals is a stark precursor to human danger. At that exact moment, Casey heard something heavy tearing off through the woods on the opposite trail. A massive creature had just been interrupted at its meal. The terror was palpable. They retreated to their tent site, shaken, but determined to stay. Casey's instinct kicked in, urging him to move the fire pit. It sat too close to a game trail. A game trail that dropped 40 feet down into the dark. This minor relocation of the fire pit, a seemingly insignificant detail, may have saved every life in that campsite. But as night fell, the warnings intensified. The small animals, the possums and foxes that had been feeding on scraps all disappeared. The wildlife had fled. The silence of the woods became heavy, unnatural. The kind of silence that precedes true catastrophe. Around 1:30 inches the morning. The fire was blazing, but the atmosphere was thick with dread. Casey, his wife, and his father were talking quietly when a body began to appear behind the fire pit. It started barely 2 inches off the ground and rose slowly, deliberately, until it stood on 2 legs. Casey believes it had been crawling on its belly up the embankment, using the thick darkness of the trail to sneak into the campsite. When it reached the fire pit, perhaps the unexpected heat or the sudden glare of the flames startled it. It stood up and immediately turned, throwing a massive shoulder and arm over its face. The creature was 8 feet tall, a huge, unnatural silhouette. Its head was the size of a beach ball, and its ears were pinned back. Angry. Casey saw them, the glowing yellow eyes. Pure predator. It was entirely black, darker than the night around it. Its hands were massive, roughly 10 inches long, ending in sharp claws. Crucially, Casey noted the wrist articulation. This was not a bear. It was a bipedal Dogman. Casey had no doubt. Its purpose, its intent, was singular. It was there for food. His wife screamed the word. Casey's mind froze in pure survival shock. Then, the speed. The massive creature took 1 step, the dirt flying up in its wake. It ran toward the tent area, dodging every chip bag, every plastic item. It was so fast, so agile. It made virtually no sound. It simply vanished. Casey immediately scanned the woods with a powerful spotlight. Nothing. No sign in the trees. No rustling in the distance. Just gone. A creature of that size cannot disappear that quickly without uncanny speed. Shaken, they didn't sleep. Casey and his father spent the remaining hours of the night building a makeshift perimeter. They ran fishing line and can-filled rocks around the tent. A crude alarm. The line was tripped the following night. That predator, or another one, was still circling. It was a tangible message. They were being watched, and they were in its domain. The next day, Casey sought answers. He spoke to the park ranger. But before Casey could share his story, the ranger interjected. "Do you believe in Black Panthers?" The ranger claimed to have seen one leaning up against a tree. This was the official cover story. Panthers do not stand upright and lean. Casey knew the ranger was terrified, providing the park's official explanation for a creature they couldn't name. This is a classic component in our missing 411 files. Official denial or strange, non-committal explanations for unnatural events. They moved their campsite immediately. The emotional toll was immense. Casey had to tell his children that the monsters he said weren't real were, in fact, real. He taught them to never go anywhere alone in the woods, especially after dark. He now camps only in a locked, secured camper, having abandoned tents entirely. He lives by a new mantra. When you enter the wilderness, you must prepare. You must protect your family against things that are far stronger than you. Casey believes there is more than one creature there. The abundance of prey makes that area a hotbed for predators. These woods are not just a habitat for common animals. They are home to something ancient and terrifying. His experience provides chilling context for why some people vanish without a struggle. Were they taken by a creature like the one Casey saw, a creature too fast, too powerful, and too intelligent to be explained? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Have you had an encounter with a black bipedal predator? Don't forget to subscribe to Mystery Rift for more unexplained stories and missing 411 cases. Thank you for listening, and until next time, stay safe out there. The woods are darker and far more dangerous than you think.